From Variety, celebrating more than 118 years covering the business of entertainment, this is the Awards Circuit Podcast. Riley Keough says it was a conversation with Under the Bridge showrunners Quinn Shepard and Samir Mehta that convinced her to tackle the Hulu limited series.
I'm really trying to be thoughtful about what I'm putting into the world. Yeah, I guess I just had this conversation with them where I kind of shared my feelings about some of the themes and things in this story that would interest me.
I'm Michael Schneider, and on this episode of the award-winning Variety Awards Circuit Podcast, we talk to Riley Keough about Under the Bridge, her directing ambitions, and more. Also on this episode, the Roundtable discusses the limited anthology series and TV movie acting categories, and who's on tap to get a nomination. It's all next on this edition of the Variety Awards Circuit Podcast. Stay close. Well, hello, everybody. It is the Variety Awards Circuit Roundtable. Woohoo! We are voting right now. Everyone, well, actually, Clayton, let's vote right now. Let's nominate people.
I can't vote yet. Ballots aren't open yet.
Okay. Well, I am Variety TV editor Michael Schneider, joined by Emily Longaretta, Jess Tenke, and Clayton Davis. And as people are listening to this, voting is open.
Yes.
Wild times.
It's closed in bands, but it's open everywhere else.
Exactly. I'm in Canada right now. I'm going to stay in Canada, I think. Too much is going down there in the States. I'm sticking here. So
I don't blame you.
Yeah. So but yeah, it's the moment the FYC events officially ended as you're listening to this again last night on Wednesday night. The final event was the Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon's 10th anniversary special, which that's how you end in things.
A choice.
and now pencils down, I guess, or pencils up.
No, pencils up.
Pencils up. Events down.
Here's Mike advocating for people.
No. You know what it is? It's Tupperware down. Pencils up. I'm sorry, you cannot fill the Tupperware with any more FYC.
Oh my gosh.
I always knew Mike was in favor of voter suppression. He's really big on it. He's huge on it.
Yes. Voter suppression, voter fraud. I'm
leave the Tupperware at home, kids.
Yeah.
Just leave it at home. That's it.
Truly.
Yeah. No, the stories that we've heard over the past couple of days of
and seen, the things that we've seen, I've seen with my eyes some wild things. I cannot unsee what I've seen during FYC season this year.
But I gotta say,
unsee.
Still, the probably the biggest gall of anyone is that story that we heard of the person who kept going up to the bar, grabbing glasses of wine, filling them in their thermos, and then going back and getting more glasses of wine. And
wait, I'm sorry, I did not hear that.
Oh, had you not heard about this?
No.
I won't say what event. You can all guess where. But apparently, this is exactly what an attendee was doing, was filling up their thermos with as much wine as they possibly could until the bartender told them, you can't do that. Because the person kept coming back to the same bartender for another glass of wine.
Oh, at least change it up to different bartenders. Come on, you got it. That's a rookie mistake.
Man.
Oh wow!
People are.
They really want
something.
that Trader Joe's wine that's being served at these events.
Tales of the FYC. That should be a column, by the way. Let's do that in the next EEs. Tales.
I'm writing that down.
The anonymous. Here's what I witnessed.
Yeah.
What I witnessed. That's the column.
What I witnessed. Love that.
How's everyone else? Their final days of FYC going?
Going great. We're ready. Clayton, are you feeling good about your predictions?
No, not even a little bit. Actually, by the time you're listening to this, I would have changed and probably went in a completely different direction. But I think what I'm going to do, I say this every year and I end up lying to myself, but I'm going to say it publicly and maybe it'll stop me. Whatever I predict on Thursday, I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to, because that's just because you have to temper the moment. And I think that's what's going to happen in that moment. But I will say that I think it's, again, wide open year in many ways. Like, you have to assess what's real, what isn't. You get to assess why campaigning matters so much.
Mm-hmm.
And FYC event, like, in a lot of ways, you're just trying to make noise, and in other ways, you're just trying to make a moment. There's a lot of TV.
Do you feel anything got like momentum or like made it through the noise in the last couple of days, like from what you've seen?
I mean, but by the time you're listening to this, I mean, time of recording, I mean, everyone's making noise at the moment. People are like, whatever the Emmy equivalent of like banging on a table, like, I think that's what everyone's doing right now, and they're trying to stand out. I think what happens is, and this happens with Oscars too, I think people look for alternatives. Like, people know Shogun, The Bear, and Baby Reindeer are like the front runners, and then people are like, okay, let's see what else there is, and then you have to then assess, did they find an alternative in that time frame? But again, this is just for nominations, so drama again is what it is. It's gonna be really. We're gonna find out what networks really have watched programs. I'll say that.
I will say it is funny. It's always this moment, and I think Emily can probably appreciate this most, where suddenly it's that last minute panic where talent that wasn't available all season long, suddenly in the days before voting starts, suddenly they're available. It's like, guys, the inn is closed. There is no room at the inn. Like, the podcast is filled. The EEs are filled. There's that ship has sailed.
The 3 or 4 days leading up to voting are by far, no contest, the most annoyed I get with people, because I cannot believe people have the audacity to pitch.
Like, no, I feel the same way. Yeah.
And then we'll say, like, can you just do like a little something? Like, I'm always
like, as if we have time to do 20 little something stories. I'm sorry, but like, no one has time. We're all doing a million things now, and we plan ahead for a reason.
Right.
I'm gonna write a sentence. I'm like, that's your little something. I'm gonna write a sentence.
Yeah, like, I can tweet. Like, what do you want me to do? Not write a story takes time.
They think that Emily basically is actually like printing the magazine the night of. And
they really like, do. They're like,
by hand.
Put this in. I'm like,
don't you have like the crank,
at my house?
the crank printer at your house where you're putting out these issues? You can just shove something in, right?
I'm like, do you know how this works? Like,
I even got a pitch recently about something that we agreed to ahead of time, and asking if we can go earlier because they think it's going to be better. And I was like, no, like, do you want me to push someone out? Because you would hate it if I did that to you. Like,
like, we mapped this out already.
Yeah. So if you're listening, publicists, stop doing that, please. Thank you.
This is where all the grapes come out. Well, we've been the past couple of weeks talking about the different acting categories, and we were up to limited this time. And actually, coincidentally, I thought it'd be fun to start with the supporting actress in a limited, because if you're listening to this episode of Award Circuit, then I hope you listened to the previous episode, because we had the one and only Jessica Gunning on Tuesday's episode from Baby Reindeer. With Clayton chatting her up. And this was, you guys chatted before the lawsuit.
Before the law, yes, please preface that.
And do we, and you do bring this up in the conversation, or not in the conversation, but in your piece, because you were able to write it and update it with the news of the lawsuit, that it's a question of whether or not all this talk now about how true the story is, if that does impact things, doesn't matter, because we know everything. I take everything with a grain of salt. Even when you tell me it's based on a true story, I know how this works. It's never true. This is not a documentary. Right. So people are up in arms that, oh my God, maybe this isn't true. Well, no, duh. It's
duh.
God. You're like that. I'm like, it's an entertainment piece. It's not a doc.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, is these aren't labeled documentaries. Like, these are fictional series. Like, even if things are loosely based on true events, like, these are fictional series. These are actors. Like, obviously in this case, I feel like with Baby Reindeer, there's like this blurred line a little bit, because he is the actual person that this allegedly happened to in real life. So I get that there's that. But at no point in this series, or did Netflix ever be like, this is a factual a documentary style situation. No, this is a fictional series.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
To
not
me,
like
it's like it's a little getting outrageous. To
yeah,
me.
it's not like they have confessionals or like some real documentary flourishes. No,
Real footage.
this looks like a scripted because it is a scripted series. So I don't know. But anyway, Clayton, sorry, what were you going to say?
No, the term based on a true story really does a lot more damage, I think, to the public perception than I think was ever intended. Because then people are like, front to back, this is true, this is what happened. Rather than, inspired by true events, which really leaves it open for interpretation. So I think we're going to see a move into like not using based on a true story anymore, because I think it's just constantly getting people into submission. I mean, Netflix had the recent settlement from When They See Us,
Right.
with Ava and Linda, whatever her name, the prosecutor from the movie. So I think this is going to continue to come, especially when things are seen at such masses and large numbers, the way Baby Reindeer has. Actually, it just came out right now as we're talking, like top 10 biggest show in Netflix history, Baby Reindeer is.
Wow.
That's it's insane.
That's incredible for them. I mean, of course, but yeah, there just needs to be. I think it just needs to be more clear that this isn't a documentary.
Yeah, no, and I think you're right. Like inspired, like just always say inspired by a true story. Never say based on a true story. I mean, again, it's like it's parsing words. What amuses me about this is tongue in cheek. Fargo always says based on this is based on true events, even though we all know that they're lying. But they use that exact terminology, and I think there are some people who still watch Fargo and they get confused. They probably thinking that this is
who are these people?
Yeah.
Name them. Who are these people?
Emily, you've been to the FYC events. You know who these people are. But,
I will say though, when the public finds out that something isn't true or it's been fabricated, I guess this all goes into the artistic venture, right? Like whatever happened in real life, does that affect what was created? Right. So do you like it because you think this is real, or do you like it because you like the way it was constructed, acted, et cetera, et cetera? It's not, and I'm not saying not in favor or not. I think that it does beg some questions, like even like Under the Bridge. Like I'm sure like there are a lot of things there that aren't necessarily like 1,000% accurate, but at the moral center is still this case, and Baby Reindeer at the moral center is not really Martha. And I think that is, while she's been the big breakout, just like Gunning has been the breakout of it, it's obviously Richard Gadd's own journey with trauma.
Yeah.
If that part was false, then I would probably feel a little ickier about it, and I'd think, okay, this kind of messed up. But as right now, this moment, that doesn't seem to be what's in question. Is just Martha. But nonetheless, Jessica Gunning is the find of the year, and I'm so excited, and I can't wait for her to rack up Emmy nominations.
Yeah. So
and see what's next for her, right?
And back to that category, by the way. And speaking of the this very podcast, this episode that you're listening to right now, our guest is another contender in the category, Riley Keough from Under the Bridge, who Jazz talked to. So this is a pretty juicy category because we've got. Lily Gladstone, also from Under the Bridge, as a possibility. We've got Jennifer Jason Leigh from the aforementioned Fargo as a possibility, who was fantastic in that. Dakota Fanning from Ripley, also from Baby Reindeer, perhaps Nava Mao as a possibility. Callie Reese from True Detective Night Company.
Can I share something about Nava Mao real quick? Because when you look at the potential lineup, there are a lot more newcomers, quote unquote, than we've seen traditionally in years past with the Emmys. They usually go very famous, buzzy shows. So either like I'm completely off base, right? Because no one knows who Nava is outside of Baby Reindeer, Jessica Gunning, all that. Callie Reese is new to the block in the acting world anyway. Then there's obviously like those dark horses like Soraya Blue, who's great in Expats. But this begs the question for Nava, who just got honored at the celebration of LGBTQ cinema. Very beautifully spoken speech that she delivered. there is this effect right now, and I was talking about this with someone. It is Pride Month, and I think more than ever, people are hyper aware of that, especially with an upcoming election. And someone said something to me. They were like, "For all we know, this is the last Pride Month we'll ever have in our lives." Like in a very serious like tone. And I wonder if that is really going to help a lot of members of the LGBTQ community, the contenders, even going into like, other unscripted spaces like We're Here, Queer Eye, those things might actually be able to make a statement or be pronounced.
Mm-hmm. It's a heavy thing to think about. That
I know. You just like left a lump in all of our throats, and our stomachs just collapsed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Everything's fine. Yeah. Everything's fine.
Everything's great.
We literally kicked off this podcast by being like, Mike's staying in Canada, and we're all moving.
Yeah,
there,
yeah. Now, I'll scout out some places here that we could all stay at.
Okay, great. Send us some Zillow links.
Can I ask you all the $1 million question? How many, if any, ladies from Feud make it?
Well, and that's kind of the next question, because when you look at sort of your next in line names, there are some big names here that they could go this route with a Diane Lane, with a Callista Flockhart, with a Chloe Savigny, of course. But then there's other big names from other projects like Sandra Oh from The Sympathizer, Dakota Fanning from Ripley. So and of course, like a stalwart who we all love, Fiona Shaw from True Detective, Night Country.
And Gillian Anderson from Scoop. I mean, let's not forget about her too. I mean, people love her, and she's been doing very well at the Emmys in the past. She's she's not new to this world of playing a royal. So
truth.
Where's the Andrea Riseborough campaign for the regime?
Oh, I mean,
sorry, I'm just trying.
Listen, our cover this week, Kate Winslet, I think she will carry the throne as much as she can for representation for that show, and probably some tech spaces.
I don't know one person who watched that show, but we'll see. It is Kate Winslet. The power of Kate Winslet is real.
Okay, I mean, she's an indie that you check off. But listen, we also do this every year, guys. What are the last 2 years have taught us is that supporting categories will end up with like 2 or 3 shows represented. And right now, I think I have like 5. And I'm like, come on, guys. I know I'm wrong. Like, it's going to be 2 Baby Reindeers, a lot of True Detectives, and maybe a bunch of Fargos or Feuds.
Well, let's look at supporting actor now, because again, an interesting mix. Of course, Robert Downey Jr., huge name, plays multiple characters on The Sympathizer. So he seems to be everywhere, doing everything right now. So it's hard to imagine a world where RDJ is not nominated. But then you've got Jonathan Bailey, who also is in a lot of places these days for Fellow Travelers.
Yeah,
he's bad to look at. He's very bad to look at.
Right. This is honestly a very attractive group of supporting actors. I have to say, this year, looking at the contenders, I'm like,
Emily, I'm sitting right.
Like,
I'm sitting right here. I'm right here.
No, this is
very sensitive to this.
These, a lot of these are Emily's jams. Mark Ruffalo from All the Light We Cannot See.
A little young for me, but I'm
okay. Maybe Christopher Eccleston then.
Lewis Pullman's dad. Yeah.
I mean, Lewis Pullman's great and all, but have you seen Bill Pullman?
So Lewis Pullman, Johnny Flynn from Ripley, John Hawkes from True Detective Night Country, you've got down as well. And Hugh Grant from The Regime, the Fargo Boys, Lamorne Morris, Joe Keery,
Barry Keoghan, please.
Yeah,
can he
from
get
Masters.
A shout out?
Yeah.
Yes.
And Treat Williams from Feud. So we get into
two posthumous
categories with him.
Yeah, Ron Stones.
Yeah. So there's a possibility of and
I do want to throw out Tom Pelphrey, because Man in Full, no one really was talking about it, but I think anyone that was talking about him, and he has won before for his amazing part in Ozark. So I feel like there is a he could be a dark horse on that.
Man in Full was the show that overtook Baby Reindeer when it was number one for all those weeks. So yeah, like
wow. So people are watching; they're just not talking about
that's
it.
That's why I'm like really like Jeff Daniels is going to sneak into this, man. And I think so many people are
your
like,
mouth. I would love that so much.
And I think I kind of made a rule in my head. I said if I'm taking Jeff Daniels, I would take Tom Pelphrey. Also, they'd be a package deal. I think they would just both make it.
Well, let's look at lead actress. Now, this is a stacked category in limited. It's, look at these names. Of course, Jodie Foster.
Never heard of her.
Who literally is everywhere these days. And, of course, fantastic in True Detective Night Country. And then, Brie Larson in Lessons in Chemistry, Kate Winslet in The Regime, Nicole Kidman in Expats, Sofia Vergara in Griselda, Juno Temple killing it, literally, like kicking some ass in Fargo.
Yeah.
And then, you go down the line, you got Naomi Watts with Feud, you got Jessica Lange for The Great Lillian Hall, Julianne Moore's in the mix, Emma Corrin.
Yes.
It's Annette Bening.
I mean, it's so many incredible women. Like, this is such a stacked group that I feel like it's so hard to even pick 6. It's so tough.
You know what I really want to do. I'm looking for Emily in Paris, and I keep looking at Lily Rose Depp, and I keep thinking, how mad would that make the world? And
if the Idol slipped in there,
it would make perfect sense. It would be
honestly,
like,
with where we are in the world, it was like in this world.
Yeah. They didn't even do an FYC event, right?
No, they didn't do anything. No, and they were only pushing crafts. So
it would be so interesting though if we had a category or a year where every nominated Emmy actress was an Oscar winner too. Because there is a world where that could happen.
Oh yeah, if Juno fell off or something, yeah. That totally could have. Listen, there is a lot of wiggle room for like just general surprises. Anna Sawai moving out of the category also just made the category incredibly white. Like just a lot of like white people just in this category now. So Sofia Vergara is really just going to hold that torch as possible, but that's possibility. Be the first Latina ever nominated.
To be honest, let's just say this entire Emmy race.
It's pretty white. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we solved it, guys. That's what they always say. It's done. We're talking about it too much.
We didn't do enough.
But yeah, I the TV movie aspects are what I'm keeping an eye on. Like Jessica Lange just dropped into the race on May 31st, and then you have 2 quiz show ladies, Sandra Oh and Awkwafina. Sandra Oh has not won an Emmy yet. And I keep,
that's crazy.
I forget that all the time because I forget about the switcheroo, the PTSD Mike switcheroo.
Oh yeah,
of Jodie Comer. Like,
I have never forgotten that. Let me tell you that. I still have regrets every time I think about how that weekend I kept going up to Sandra Oh saying, "Hey, feeling good. Like, can't wait to see you on Monday. You got this." And then you don't got this.
In fairness, she won everything leading up to, like, there was no.
She
reason.
did, and wasn't that was the year that she co-hosted the Globes with Andy Samberg, right? Was that?
It was either right before or right after, but I know they're like in the.
I just feel like she was, because she was just having a moment, and it just felt like it was preordained. But that's again, the unpredictability of the Emmy. That's why we love it so much.
I mean, she's going to get a nom, I think, regardless, because she's the producer on Quiz Lady. So
and by the way, Maria and I watched Quiz Lady, and we had a good time. It's a fun watch.
It's fun.
Yeah. It's like a nice stay at home. It's perfect TV, like elevated TV movie. So
that's why I like TV movie, because I think they don't. I think it's okay. They're not very challenging films. I think it's cool that it's Chippendale Rescue Rangers, man. Like I don't need cinema every time. Like shit's fun. Like you can just have fun at the movies.
That's the point. Yeah. All right. Shall we move on to lead actor in limited?
To this garbage, ugly, non-good-looking category. Who are
Yeah,
these bozos?
it's ridiculous. It's you
Yeah.
know look at these people. Variety cover person Andrew Scott from Ripley.
Mhm.
He's
Mm.
the one and only John Hamm,
Nah.
who was so great in Fargo this year. Your guy Richard Gadd from Baby Reindeer.
Also, was on making a scene this season of Variety. You should watch that episode. It was actually great.
Yeah. Matt Bomer from Fellow Travelers is also in the mix.
Horrendous looking. Can I just say, when you just went through those four, for me, those are the four I feel the best about.
Yeah.
You feel those are locked.
I feel good about those. Matt Bomer, especially because Jonathan Bailey's doing so well. So I think that he's fine there. But those four is good. And then after that, we're off a cliff. And then pick any two numbers 5 through 20.
And you have right now predicted the two guys from Red, White, and Royal Blue, which I know you've gotten some stuff over.
So listen, Nicholas Galatine, more than anything, is having a good breakout year. He's done
because of Mary and George. He's good in Mary and George. Red, White, and Royal Blue, coming from the person who loves a rom-com more than anyone. This movie is not an Emmy contender. Yeah. I'm going to say that I love both of these guys so much. They both have been extremely sweet and kind, and obviously, but both run actors on actors for us, and we're incredible. This movie is not an Emmy movie.
So what you're saying is Clayton's is allowing his man crushes to get in the way of his predictions.
So
I mean, I've done this, Clayton. I've been there. I understand your pain.
So, but to Emily's point, because of Mary and George for Nicholas Galatine, which I can acknowledge 100%, this happens all the time in the Oscar race. Stanley Tucci has an Emmy Oscar nom for The Lovely Bones and not Julie and Julia. And there, sometimes the year, you have so many different things that they just go to what's the easiest thing to kind of check off. I think that's why, but to your point, Mike, by the time this is updated, I don't think I'll have either of them anymore. I think we're going to look at Jeff Daniels probably entering that fray and any other famous guy that is a leading man.
Yeah, well, I got to say, because Michael Douglas is in the mix too, David Oyelowo, Tom Hollander, but the name not to sleep on, as you know, Emmy voters love them some Tony Shalhoub.
Yes, they do.
You can totally see a little Shalhoub sneaking in there as the number 6 or something.
Can I just say something about David Oyelowo? If there's an award for most effort this year, it's David Oyelowo.
It's him.
I want it for him so bad, just because you put yourself out there. Which, by the way, I don't even poo-poo at. People always you try so hard. It's your career. Do what you want. And he is an incredibly gifted actor and criminally underrated at the same time. So
I would give your 5 and 6 slots to Tony Shalhoub. Oh. No, to Tony Shalhoub and David.
I did have that at one point.
I can't see Tony Shalhoub. Emmy voters just love him so much.
That's my thing. But I also can see, for 6, I can see Austin Butler getting in just because of the Austin factor.
Yeah, there's definitely famous guys and recent Oscar hotheads do tend to pull that in. With David, he has a SAG nom too, which helps incredibly here. The Shalhoub, my little hesitation there, he missed for the final season of Maisel, didn't he?
I don't remember.
Check.
I think he might have missed the last. There are staples normally, and he's a staple, but sometimes they're just no, I'm good. I'm actually looking at Ewan McGregor a lot in this regard, because I remember for no reason whatsoever he won an Emmy for Halston. No reason.
I'm here. I'm still here for that. I was still here for that. So.
I love that he holds an Emmy, because Ewan McGregor is incredible.
Yeah,
but no one watched Halston, and he beat the Hamilton boys and Hugh Grant. So they clearly like him. And then the new lead from The Sympathizer, we cannot say his name, and I don't want to mutilate it and get canceled, so I'm not going to. But sure, there you go. Katolik riding with RDJ.
By the way, I love that story idea that you just gave us, Clayton. The idea of like, Emmy and Oscar winners who have the trophies for the dumbest reasons. Like they deserve the trophy. Thankfully, they are winners, but not for what they should be winners for.
I can tell you number one for Oscar right now, Al Pacino. He has the worst Oscar that represents his career. Sense of a Woman.
100%.
I mean, honestly, Leo also. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as bad as Al, but Leo didn't.
That was a career.
It was career, but you always have to factor in what. Not only what else did they win, is who they beat. And Leo didn't beat anyone that was like egregious. Al Pacino beat Denzel Washington from Malcolm X.
Literally makes zero sense.
Yeah.
One film we're still talking about. The other one is just never revisited.
It doesn't even exist. Well, the other one does not exist.
Can I ask you, Emily, about Mary and George? Because this has been, I think, of any contender of the season, the hardest to get a read on. Of like, are people watching it? Are people talking about it? It's well liked by people who watch it. Then that is always a follow-up question: did enough people watch it to matter?
Well, it's the opposite effect of a show like we said, Man in Full, where it's people are clearly watching it. But with Mary and George, I don't think it's clear if people are watching it. We don't know. Obviously, they don't release what they're watching. I will say they are pushing. I got to press enough. I got a second press box yesterday for Mary and George. So it was like, just as a reminder, here you go again. So I feel like they are definitely making the effort. But I don't know a person in the real world that's watching it that's not industry.
And unfortunately, Starz has just always had a really difficult time breaking into the Emmy race. They have tried so hard over the years. They've had some great contenders, and for whatever reason, they just have a really difficult time.
Yeah. And it sucks is they do have, like you said, like they've had some really great shows for years, and it just.
I mean, people who watch Shining Vale live and die by Shining Vale.
It was excellent, but it's so tough to break in. And honestly, I don't get Starz. I don't know where to. I don't even know how it exists anymore.
Wait, you don't get Starz, or I don't get Starz.
You don't
both.
What's the deal with Starz?
Both are true.
All right.
But yeah, Mary and George is one of those shows that I'm like, I mean, because again, I go back to Yellowstone every single time. It was the number one show on television, guys.
Right.
It was the number one show, and it didn't.
I mean, so was Tracker. So was Tracker this year, but we're
where's the Tracker love? Where is the Tracker love?
I feel so bad for Justin Hartley, like so much. I do a little bit because. He had one great, amazing season on This Is Us where I really thought he was going to make it, and he didn't. And then, like, he finally got a vehicle that like people were watching, and still nothing. Like, it's just he can't.
Well, I think he's doing okay.
Yeah, he'll look at that checkbook and
look in the mirror, look at the checkbook. He's doing good.
He can buy a replica Emmy. All right. On that note, I think we're going to leave it there. But yeah, so go vote early, vote often, and vote wisely. Check out Clayton's predictions over at thevariety.com. And
yell at me there.
We'll be back in person next week. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
After the break, we talked to Under the Bridge star Riley Keough. From Los Angeles, this is the Award Circuit Podcast. And we're back. It's the Variety Award Circuit Podcast, and I'm Michael Schneider. Hulu's Under the Bridge is a limited true crime series that follows the 1997 murder of Rena Verk, a 14-year-old girl in British Columbia. After attending a party with her, quote, friends, unquote, near the infamous Craigflower Bridge, Rena never returns home. Riley Keough plays Rebecca Godfrey, a journalist who penned a book of the same name.
Mark Jacobs.
Oh. Thank you.
Are you a pig?
Do I look like a cop?
Don't be an idiot. She just said she's doing something for school.
I just said that so I can get in here. You can get away with a lot more when people don't take you seriously. I'm writing a book
About what?
The misunderstood girls of Victoria. I've been doing some research.
Why did you come here?
Because I had a friend who used to live here when I was a kid. Anyways, I'd love to talk to you guys if you're interested. I'm gonna leave my number. And you can call me if you want to.
Wait. You live in New York?
In Under the Bridge, Rebecca travels back to the area for a story and ends up working alongside a cop played by Lily Gladstone, investigating the beating and attack. Speaking recently with Variety's Jazz Tanke, Keough says she wanted to make sure this story was more than just entertainment and the story wasn't an exploitative one. They began with Jazz asking her what drew her to Under the Bridge.
Actually, the conversation that I had with Quinn and Samir, who were the creator and the showrunner, I received the first episode and just a little bit of information about where the series was going. And I think that I am really trying to be thoughtful about like what I'm putting into the world. And I think when true crime comes up, it can create, for me, like I was a little bit apprehensive about it, just because it just feels so, exploitative, and I don't know why are we making this? Why are we watching it? I care about those things, and of course it's there's the simple reason to make things, which is entertainment, and I think for whatever reason people are just like obsessed with true crime, and the idea of like getting a little bit looking into that a little bit was interesting to me. And so the conversation that are approaching it in a different way, or exploring that, and the humanity, humanity within these incidents. I guess I just had this conversation with them where I kind of shared my feelings about some of the themes and things in this story that would interest me. And they were very open to exploring those things and not having such a, exploring the gray area and not having such a black or white opinion on this is bad, this is good, and that was interesting to me. And I think that the conversation with them and the opportunity to like explore this genre differently was interesting to me.
Yeah. Are you a fan of true crime? Like, are you one of those people that watches all the shows? And
I wouldn't say I'm a fan of true crime as a genre. I would say I get sucked into true crime like many people.
Yeah.
I think there are people out there who are just obsessed with it. I'm not like that, but I certainly there's just, it's I don't know, it grabs people in this way that I will say, I'm not someone full horror genre like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't grab me in the way that I think some people also get really grabbed. Everyone has a genre that really hooks them, and it hooks me, but I don't go searching for it.
Yeah.
But if there's a story that's coming up that's just, really, I don't know, wild, certainly I will get hooked into it, but I wouldn't say I'm a true crime junkie.
This is also one of the first times you wear the producing hat.
Yeah.
What was that like, taking on that, that aspect of filmmaking and storytelling?
I think for me, the type of artist and person I am, it makes sense for me because I'm the way my mind works isn't just I don't feel like I will say this, I can be just an actor, but I'm happiest when I'm able to contribute more.
Yeah.
And have, the conversations and discussions behind the scenes and figuring out the thing holistically is half of the fun for me. And as an actor, you're not really able to always do that. So I love producing. This was our first TV show. We've produced films, and it's just, it's just such a different beast, and it was really a learning experience in a great way. And it was, it's just a totally different experience. It's much different. The way things are run is very different to a film. It's a totally different thing. So it was good for us to have the experience and to learn.
Yeah. I love Rebecca's journey, especially with the teens and kind of getting into their mind of like, what drives them, what drove them, and that dynamic with Cam. But like, talk about your way into Rebecca and her journey. Grant, you had the book, you had her book, but there's a lot of
there was the book. We had the book. I also had Quinn, who was an incredible asset because she had spent 3 years with Rebecca and knew her very well. And Quinn also had things like her diaries and her notes and these really personal things. And to have that kind of source material or those types are in her book as well. And then there was so much for me to, a lot of the time when it's a person you're kind of creating these things. So it's certainly helpful. And there is a great sense of, like, there's a big responsibility when it's somebody's real story. But I think that what was liberating for me was that Rebecca wanted me to play her. And unfortunately, I didn't get to meet her because she passed away shortly after I was cast. But knowing that she wanted me playing her and that she felt, she'd seen my work, and kind of knowing that, I felt like a great sense of freedom, actually, instead of, I think I could understand you could feel like stressed out, and it could feel like a kind of a burden to play somebody who's passed accurately. But I don't know. I felt like she would be okay with me interpreting her the way that felt real and honest to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like through the conversations I had with Quinn, that was the case. And she also, I know she wasn't afraid to not be like this perfect character in the story, to do things that are questionable and maybe not have a total sense of her direction at all times. And whereas Cam is like, I think that's what's so interesting about the show and the structure of the show is you have these two characters. You have, firstly, you have an ensemble, right? Like, it's really like everyone's a supporting role in Rena's story in a way, and I love that about the show. But you're also able to explore this thing, this incident, through so many different characters' perspective, like through Cam, through Rebecca, all the kids, all the Verks themselves, so you're really able to I feel like have multiple perspectives. And I think Rebecca, she kind of represents the more slippery kind of what you've seen with reporting or storytelling, where it's a little bit like there's extraction happening, or it's a bit more exploitive, and maybe that's where she's going with this, whereas Cam is like very has very high morals, and, like it's like very
so
like
by the book.
very by the book, and so I think it's just an interesting, because and neither of them, I think what the show does so beautifully is I think you get to the end and like everybody's right and wrong, and so it feels very human, and I love that. But yeah, I think that just to take it back to Rebecca, I think that she was okay with that. She was okay with, there were things in her book that were, a little bit problematic at the time. She wasn't victim focused, her book. And she was okay with talking about that and having those conversations. And that sort of set the tone of the entire show and behind the scenes, as well as in front of the camera, which was just having conversations that that are interesting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I love that it wasn't so black and white.
Yeah.
And I think that was great thing about the teens and like the adults in there. Does Rebecca get closure at the end by episode 8?
Closure? Like, does anyone ever get closure? I don't know. Like, I've never really I don't think I've ever had closure. I think it's just like a continuous cycle. I think that she understands. I think she understands what gets more clarity on her involvement in the case and why she was there, you know? And I think that, I don't know when this comes out. Does this come out?
It's going to come out after. So we can spoil.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that I think you get this, like, there's this feeling like sometimes with her where you're like, why are you here? What are you doing? And I think that she kind of realizes that it's a very personal journey for her and that she's getting, I think that, you know, it's obviously not just about her book and there's something, and I don't think she knows what it is throughout. I think she's just very drawn to sticking around and seeing this thing through, and she's looking for a more profound, I don't know, something out of this situation, but it's very personal to her. And I think that becomes more clear, I would say.
Yeah. I love the dynamic with the teens. What was it like working with them? They're so incredible to watch.
I love working with, like, I hate calling them kids because they're not kids, but I love working with young actors because it's just really spontaneous and very present. And so I find it to be a joy and also like an honor. Like, I love working with kids, you know, it's like my favorite. 'Cause they're just really present.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Something happens, I guess, when you get older where your kind of mind like is in a million places at once and they're just right there with you. And that's like the biggest gift as an actor.
Yeah.
To have real presence across from you. And so I just really loved every moment with them. Like geez, of course, obviously, like the other actors, the adult actors in the show are amazing as well. And like Lily was, of course, like I could go on and on about Lily, but just, I love working with kids.
Yeah. Speaking of Lily, again, that's such an incredible dynamic. And I love those scenes with her at the premiere. I think it was she that said that she slid into your DMs
way back. Slid into each other's DMs a lot. In the form of advocacy, not in like a sexual way. I just, I was familiar with her work as an actor. I think she, for years, and along with that, I am, her advocacy is always something that inspires me. I try to be as much of an ally as I can to the Indigenous community. And that's something that is always at the top of mind for me. So I think that a lot of the issues or things that she's posting about on Instagram were things that I naturally would respond to. So we would chat a bit here and there, but nothing,
supporting one another.
Yeah, right.
What was that like, working together on this and as you said, going from DMs into like, we're working together and we're telling the story and, unpacking all these different themes because there are so many themes in this series.
I found it really exciting when we came on, Gina and I and our company, to produce it, and we kind of said to them, what about Lily Gladstone for Cam? And they were like, that's who we want. And I knew in that moment, I was like, oh, great, this is perfect. Like the fact that they want Lily is really exciting to me. And I felt confident that they were open and collaborative enough to allow Lily to, in a sense, do what she wanted with the role.
Yeah.
As the largest indigenous character in the show, there has to be room for her to feel ownership over that.
Yeah.
And I felt confident that Quinn and Samir would allow that ownership. And then we were just, I don't know, somehow lucky enough to get her, to be interested in the show.
Yeah. This also tells, the sad story of Rena and, what happened to her.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean to have the story out there and just shine the spotlight on?
I think what's so special about the show is that she is a character in the show.
Yeah.
I think when you see true crime, often the victim is, not a part of the story. And she's and of course Tika is like such an incredible, incredible Rena and you just feel her spirit so much throughout the show, and it stays, she is as much of a character in the show as all the rest of us,
Yeah.
and I think that's I haven't really seen that before.
Yeah. I was speaking to the music supervisor, Brian Rose, and asking about the soundtrack that she gave the teens and then the one that she gave the adults, and she gave Rebecca and Cam as like Susie and the Banshees and The Cure. Like, what were you listening to as a teenager? As a teenager,
I was definitely listening to like Ashanti and like Fabulous and like Ja Rule. Like that was
nothing like
that was my teen, and like Dr. Dre and like Snoop Dogg. Like that was Cameron. Is that how you say it? Cameron. That's what I listened to. I was like very into like hip hop and R&B and that kind of thing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I love
when
that.
I was like 12, 13. That was like that was what I was into. But I always liked everything. Like I listened, like the first CD my dad got me when I was 12 was Tom Waits, and I listened to that too. So the first CD I ever bought myself was Offspring, which is so weird, and it had nothing to do with the music. I just like saw the cover and thought the art was cool, or I don't know. So I always listened to everything.
Yeah.
But I don't really listen to music. I know that Lily makes like a playlist when she plays a character.
Yeah.
And there's certain moments where I'll use music for prep like that, but I don't really like, unless there's a really specific like feeling that I'm trying to conjure, like then I'll use a song.
Yeah.
But I don't make playlists typically, unless I'm trying to familiarize myself with music for a reason.
Yeah.
But I use music a lot, like if I'm writing.
Yeah.
But for some reason with acting, it's not my technique.
Did you have a song for Rebecca, or were you just like,
no? That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like I wasn't like using music in that way.
Yeah.
I use it a lot when if I'm writing, like I listen to music the whole time I'm writing.
Yeah.
But acting, like it's very like specific if I'm listening to a song, like
Yeah. I want to talk about TV consumption because we were kind of touching on this earlier. Like, how do you consume your TV? Like, are you
like everybody else? I sit on my phone and like try and choose something for an hour and then go to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's the worst thing. I could have seen like an episode or something. But
it's so crazy. Like I'll have I'll go to the fridge and get like some raspberries and be like, okay, I'm gonna sit on the couch and watch something. And then I sit there and look for things to watch. And then I realize it's late. And then I realize I need to go to sleep.
Yeah.
It's like happens too often. I don't know. Like I need to figure out a way around that process. Because unless I go in, maybe it's going into it knowing what you're going to watch, like making a list and going, this is what I'm going to watch. Because it's overwhelming.
But sometimes that doesn't even work if you have a list.
It's true because you might not be in the mood for it.
Yeah.
I know. I make these lists where I'm like, I'm going to watch, every whatever old French movie I've never seen, and then I'm get to sit down. I'm like, I just want to watch like something silly, you know. I don't want to watch that at all.
I get it. You're like, I'm gonna be able to, you know, appreciate the arts, and then you're like, I'm just here watching the Golden Girls.
Oh yeah, I mean, Golden Girls for sure. Nick at Night, like if that would be ideal if I could find Nick at Night. That was my favorite.
There you go. I want to talk about Sasquatch Sunset because the makeup on that film, I mean, it's phenomenal. What was that process like for you? Completely different, just changing.
It was, well, we had bodysuits. So the prosthetics was just our head, our face, basically. Yeah. We had a headpiece, and then we had prosthetics for our face. And it was like a 2-hour process in the morning. And it was really, I mean, I've only done little prosthetics here and there where like I've worn a pregnant belly or like little tiny, you know, cuts or whatever type of normal things. And this was like very much creature work. And so I certainly have so much respect and awe for people who do creature work all the time, because it's like, to me, like insanely uncomfortable and difficult. Like I was really, the minute I remember we put our suits on because we had to rehearse without our suits. And then the minute we put our suits on, I remember looking at Jesse with just like dread in my eyes, and I could see it in his as well, going like, oh God, the next few weeks are going to be so hard, because they were really like, you couldn't really move very well. If you lifted your arm, it felt like everything was, there was resistance everywhere you went. So it felt like you had weights on your arm, and it was just really hard. And then your whole face is in prosthetics, and you can't, like, it's extremely claustrophobic, but it's also like if you get like an itch or something, you're like, you can't do anything about it. Like my head was itching because it would get sweaty and I just couldn't itch. So there was one day that I was like super itchy, and I was like, I felt like I was losing my mind. Like I felt like there was like ants in my pants. Like I was like, I can't. And I just felt, I was so, I was like, punishing everyone by telling them how uncomfortable I was all day, but like it was really difficult. But anyways, the moral of the story is it was a 2-hour process, and it was really crazy and difficult, but honestly one of the coolest. And I don't know, I look back on that time with so much, I really like pushed myself in a way physically that I wasn't expecting to. Like I would come home and kind of sit under the shower, and cause we were out in the woods all day, like in these really difficult, suits. And I would come home and just sit on the floor of the shower and kind of like, I just felt like I was like running a marathon all day. And so it was like very, I don't know, gratifying in that way, like in a physical sense, actually.
Yeah. So we won't be seeing you in prosthetics, full prosthetics.
I didn't say that. I would do Sasquatch too if they asked me. I would.
There you go. We'll put that out there. Would you want to step into the director's chair again? And
definitely. Yeah, I will step into the director's chair again. I just need to like speed up my writing process because I am just taking my time.
Good things come to those who wait, though. We need more music than more.
I'm just not, I'm writing, I'm writing a film at the moment. I'm about halfway through. I have these moments where I just like can't bear it, and I stop and like I just let myself. I don't push myself through it. Maybe I should, but I kind of, if I'm feeling really unattracted to something I'm working on, I allow that and stop. So I'm kind of taking a moment, but yes, eventually I will be finished with it and direct it. That would be the plan.
We'll
with
wait.
Gina, of course.
We'll wait and watch this space and be patient with it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're like, Jazz, I've been asked this so many times, but people want to know, are you going to be doing any more singing? Would you want to after? Daisy Jones? Like how?
I would sing if like I don't know. Yeah, like I don't know in what way. Like if it was for a film or it's not something I think about a lot.
Yeah.
Like if someone was like, "Hey, can you sing for a reason?" I'd consider it, but I don't. It's not like I'm like, "Oh, I want to write a record and write my own music." I don't have that. I don't know how.
Yeah.
But
you can say you can play a character.
Yeah. I'm not a musician. You know, I don't think. I mean, to be fair, I've never tried, but I don't have the drive to go write songs in the way that I have the drive to write films. And I don't even think I'm that good of a singer, you know? So I'm like, if just being honest, like I'm an okay singer. Yeah, like if it was for a role, 100%, I loved it. You know, it's so much fun. Like making a record was so much fun. And, you know, and being able to like rehearse in a band was so much fun.
Yeah.
I just don't know how that would fit into my life. But yeah, I would do it for like film or TV for sure.
Yeah. We'll see what Hollywood, you know, pulls your way.
If someone wants me to do a musical, I'm there. I'm happy to do it, and I love it.
So, what are you watching? I know you said.
What am I watching? Like in when?
When you take downtime for yourself, when you're like not working, when you're at home and you have when
at
you're
my house.
Yeah, when you're like when you finally settled on something, what is Riley watching?
It's so random. Like I'm certainly not watching the same type of thing every day.
Yeah.
You know, like I will watch I literally probably like everybody else, like whatever I'm in the mood for, because you can watch anything. Yeah. If I'm going to the theater, I'm watching whatever's out in the theater. I just watched Challengers, which I loved.
So good. So much fun.
That movie was so much fun. Yeah, I'll like when I was just in London, and I was living in Notting Hill, and the Electric Cinema was right next to me.
Love
and
that place.
I just would walk over and watch whatever was playing, and it was just like so romantic, and I wish that existed here, but it doesn't where I live anyway. But yeah, just I love matinees. Like, it's my favorite. I love watching movies during the day. And yeah, so whatever's playing in the cinema, I watched everything they played while I was there.
Oh, I love the Electric Cinema in Notting Hill. It's just
it's like so beautiful. Romantic and so beautiful. It's like, yeah, we don't really have that.
LA
here.
does not have that.
I know. Maybe they need to bring the Electric Cinema to LA.
There you go. Oh my God, I would love that. Like, I probably would not be showing up to work in the afternoons because I'd go and watch. Maybe in Silver Lake, or like it feels like it could be a Silver Lake.
Yeah, like on the east side type of thing.
Yeah. Or West Side for the West Side people. They will be like, I live on the West Side. And
You could, there could be 2 Electric Cinemas in LA. If anyone's listening and wants to create this,
invest in cinema going. No, I love that. So what's next for you, Riley?
I don't know, which is so fun. I just wrapped a movie. Well, I haven't actually technically wrapped yet. I'll wrap it in a few days. And which was really a wonderful experience. I'm actually really trying to write this movie right now. And so I'm trying to take the summer to do that. But you know, like with films, things just come up, and then the next thing you know, you're doing a movie. And you know, I have a film I'm meant to be doing in the fall, but things just change so quickly with this work. It's like I don't have like a hard plan other than this fall movie, but I think right now mostly just trying to write my movie.
That's Under the Bridge star Riley Keough. The series is now streaming on Hulu. And that's it for this edition of Variety's Award Circuit Podcast. Aaron Greenewald edited this episode, and Michael Schneider is the producer. Be sure to subscribe to the Award Circuit Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you download podcasts. Also, head on over to Variety.com and click on the Award Circuit tab to find the latest awards predictions and key races, as well as your daily fix of news, analysis, and reviews. For Jazz Tanke, Emily Longaretta, and Clayton Davis, I'm Michael Schneider, and we'll see you on the circuit.